Welcome to Almost Senator en route, this time with a rental car special. So for this trip I had 3 different rental cars, and the first one I got was in Atlanta, was a Prius. And no discussion about the Prius. From a performance point of view, it's good. Fuel economy is outstanding, and just the only thing is, from an aesthetics point of view, it is a bit questionable. The second car I got was in Albuquerque. That was a Nissan Kicks, and that was one of the worst cars I've ever had as a rental car. Very poor performance and very poor fuel economy as well. So the Prius got a mileage of 60 miles per gallon, so that's an equivalent of less than 4 liters per 100 kilometers. And the Nissan got a fuel performance of just 30 miles per gallon. So that's 8 liter per 100 kilometers, which is insane for such a kind of non-existing performance. And the third car was a Polestar. And the Polestar 2 was an electric vehicle, and it got a performance, a fuel economy, or kind of power economy, electricity economy, of 30 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, which is pretty impressive as well. So now let's dive into the costs of these cars and how I booked them. Similar like to flights, I always try to book directly from the provider and not via brokers or any third parties. But, well, money talks. So sometimes it's cheaper if there are 2 or 3 other parties involved, which is strange, but it is how it is. And that was the reason why I booked the Prius, or a similar car. You don't know what you get in the end. With the platform billigermietwagen.de, so cheaprentalcar.de, a German platform. And after I've booked that, I could see that the broker, or that there was another broker, which was Auto Europe, and the rental car agency in the end was Avis. And I got the Avis car. I got the Prius in the end, and it cost a little less than 300 euros, but I paid a big idiot surcharge on that. So what these guys at the rental agencies typically do, they try to upsell you some insurances, some fuel, whatever. And that was the case here as well. And I'm aware of that, and I know that, and typically they ask, do you want this or that insurance? Do you want to prepay the gas? Whatever. And that guy in that particular case did not ask. So he just booked it and apparently let me sign it. So I think he should be fine because I somehow signed it. But I did not pay attention too much what I have signed. And that's what I figured out after I have returned the car and got the final invoice from Avis. And it costs then 127 euros more. So that was then 298 euros plus the 127, which in the end was way more expensive than if I had booked directly via Avis on their platform. That was a different situation in Albuquerque. So I got this Nissan Kicks directly booked via Avis. So when I did the research for booking that trips, I figured out that billiger Mietwagen would not be cheaper than directly booking with Avis, and that was the reason why I did so. And they charged me 245 euros for that Nissan for 3 days. No extra costs, except fuel, of course, but that's the normal case. And for the third car, I got a Polestar, and I booked here again via billiger Mietwagen. So I got the cheaper offer compared to the other companies I had a look. So I directly looked as well at Sixt and Avis and their platforms, but this offer was cheaper. So when I booked, I figured out again that there is a middleman, which is Auto Europe, and Hertz was the final company. And a day before I got the car, my friend in LA told me that Hertz went bankrupt, or that they are at least under Chapter 11 management. So I thought, well, I'm not sure if they really are still there, if they're still operating. So I did remember that I can cancel any bookings at Billiger Mietwagen, even on a kind of short notice. But I could not anymore because it was less than 24 hours out. So I thought, okay, I cannot change it. So let's see what comes. And the booking confirmation already told me that it's going to be a Polestar. And I knew that having an EV out there might be a bit of a challenge, but I thought challenge accepted. And I thought, well, I'm pretty sure that I get something else, because with all these bookings, you typically book a certain class and you get whatever car in the end. But I then eventually got the Polestar 2, and charging was a bit of a challenge, but I made it. And I figured out that the fuel economy, or the electricity economy from that one, was really good. So I got out 30 kilowatts per kilowatt hours per 100 miles, which is very good for an EV. So what's my lesson learned here? Well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So if you book directly at the rental car provider, you know what you get, typically, and you know how much you pay. With these middlemen and brokers, well, as in this case, I had luck with the Polestar. From a price point of view, that was a good tariff for such a good car. And with the Prius and the extra insurances and all that kind of stuff what I got sold, I had bad luck. And well, if you want to de-risk your trip, if you want to know what you get and don't want to take the risk that they sell you, that they upsell you something, then book directly with the provider. Yeah, so that's what happened with all the rental cars. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.